Hey guys, welcome to the channel. How do you guys feel about PVD coated or DLC watches? To me, I've always felt like I've liked the look of them. I just couldn't wear them every day, and therefore I couldn't justify spending the money on them. I'd like to hear from you guys. Now, in regards to both of these watches, we have the 62 mass reissue and the Marinemaster 200 for the Seiko Black Series. And this means that we have a PVD coated case with dye shield coating on top. Both of these watches are limited to about 5,500 units each, and they retail in my country for about 1,500 Canadian dollars, just a little bit over that actually. It was rather difficult for me to find the information for these two watches, whether they're DLC or PVD coated. From Seiko, quote unquote, they mention it's black coated with dye shield coating. Take that as you will. I know some publications have said that it's PVD coated with dye shield coating. The idea behind these two watches is intended for night diving, where orange is the most visible color underwater. If you're going to be using this for diving, you'll be pleased to know that the 200 meters of water resistance with the screw down crown and the tough finishing of that PVD dye shield coated case should be able to withstand the rigors of use. These watches will be used for anything more than desk diving, as most dive watches. However, if you're going to do any night diving, you'll be pleased to find out that Seiko has applied copious amounts of Lumibrite on the dial. The minute hand on each of these dive watches is separated with this orange color from its usual green-blue Lumibrite color for the rest of the dial. I think it's a striking combination. It's very good lume, reactive, good duration as well. Watches have quite a few similarities. The price points are quite similar, and that means they're comparable to each other. The movement inside is the caliber 6R35, 70 hours power reserve, 21,600 vibrations per hour, and a robust movement at that. Both have sapphire crystals too. Now if we get them on the caliper just to measure the dimensions, the Marinemaster 200 measures a little bit denser on the strap at 16.7 millimeters with that lovely Seichu kimono style strap. In stark contrast to this, looking at the Marinemaster compared to the 62 mass reissue, the 62 mass reissue clocks in at 16.5 millimeters, and that's down to how I'm measuring it at the center of the crystal. Both watches are shrouded by this lovely PVD finishing that has been hardened by dye shield coating for extra resistance to wear. The 62 mass is supposedly thicker than the Marinemaster 200, and there's a reason for that. By measuring it on the caliper here, the 62 mass reissue measures in right at around, if we take a look here, 13.8 millimeters at the center of the crystal to the edge of the case back where the Kanagawa wave is sitting. Comparably so, looking at the Marinemaster 200 for example, we are going to measure it at just right over, considering the Kanagawa wave as well, to be 13.1 millimeters thick. You must be thinking at this point, wait a second, these watches measure thinner on paper. Yes, they do. I'm not sure how Seiko measures the watches, but I'm measuring from the top of the crystal to the edge of the case back where the Kanagawa medallion is sticking out. So when you look at that, the 62 mass reissue is supposed to be about 13.2 millimeters thick on paper, compared to the 12.5 millimeters thick of the Marinemaster 200 on paper once again. Both of these watches wear very well on my 6.5 inch wrist. The Marinemaster 200 special feature is the crown that's off-centered at 4 o'clock. It won't dig into your wrist if you're going diving or pursuing any kind of activity. This means that the Marinemaster 200 with its 42mm case and its 48.8mm lug-to-lug length is going to be a compact size that will fit majority of wrist all the way up to 8 inches, no problem. The 62 mass reissue is quite comfortable on the wrist, even though it has that 70s style skin diver case with straighter lugs than the Marinemaster 200. It means that the overall wearability of the 62 mass reissue is actually down to the fact that the lug-to-lug length is only 47.6 millimeters, 1.2 millimeters shorter than the Marinemaster 200. It would be my first choice. One of the things that I don't enjoy about PVD watches is that they're rather difficult to pair with different straps. You really want to have them with a rubber strap, or preferably something that matches that darker tone, that more tougher tactical look. In the case of the Seiko Black Series, the Seichu kimono belt style straps that come with it are a welcome addition. I think the brown pairs beautifully with that blacked out case and the oranged warm tones of the bezel and that minute hand. You'll be happy to note that the Seichu strap is high quality, the stitching is perfect, the hardware is robust, and it is coated in the same PVD material that's used on the case as well too. There's a Kanagawa motif just for you to check out. You won't see it because it's covered up most of the time, but it's a nice touch to have there. The thing to note about this is that you're getting lots of micro adjustments with this strap. Now, the weaving of the strap is very, very dense and fine. It's not like your typical purlon. You will not be poking through this. The Kanagawa motif that's on the back is a very handsome and welcome addition. Striking back to the heritage of Seiko and its dive watches, it's always been there, and it's just nice to have it complimentary on the strap. Outside of the quality of these straps, there's one area of disappointment. The thing to know about wearing these straps, there's a special way to wear them. You can't tuck that top part of the strap where it's longer underneath the second or first keeper. In fact, the way to get around this, you have to roll up the second keeper as far up as you can and actually go over the first keeper, tucking the strap under the second. Okay? So you've got this very awkward thing that's not like your conventional NATO strap. The good news is that Seiko supplies us with a rubber strap, and this is one of their softest silicone straps. It doesn't attract dust or lint. The keepers are in the same PVD black, and it's just one of the most comfortable high quality straps I've seen come from the brand. Though the bezels of both of these watches are similar in their design, they're different in the way they feel. And with the Marinemaster 200 and the 62 mass Black Series, they actually have better bezel actions than their non-limited edition versions. You are getting a 120 click unidirectional bezel that has a steel bezel insert that has the DiaShield coating applied on top of it for extra durability. The Marinemaster 200's bezel is the one that I wish every Seiko dive watch had. It is more sure of itself. I'm not sure if it's just this version alone, but it was true for every Marinemaster 200 I've tried. The bezel action seems to be better than the 62 mass reissue. Both of the watches here do have the same type of movements. They are the caliber 6R35 with 70-hour power reserve, beating at 21,600 vibrations per hour. There is almost no light reflection from the dials of these watches. They have a unique textured fine graining to them, devoid of color, but not devoid of character. It allows for the beige indices to pop on the dial. The Marinemaster 200 has a 12 o'clock indicator that's shaped like a shield. Contrasting that is the traffic lights seconds hand that's running around the dial. The quality of the dials are excellent, and the biggest quality that can be seen right away are the hands. The sword hands, accompanied by the broadsword hour hands and the slimmer sword minute hands, are a nice contrast as the minute hands is colored in orange. The printing quality is sharp all around. Even the dial with the date window is cut up perfectly. I really do like the attention to detail here. The 62 mass reissue has more traditional dial with its baton indices, in stark contrast to the more modern Marinemaster 200. The handset on the Marinemaster 200 is larger and has more presence, but the 62 mass has slimmer hands to match the baton indices. I think it's a handsome dial. In a perfect world with unlimited resources, we'd have both of these watches in our collection, but to the realistic collector, maybe only one will be enough, and that means you have to make a decision. In my view, I enjoy the Marinemaster 200 that we see here. It has a very, very nice bezel action, and the overall wearability of this watch is surprising for 42mm. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy the more classical looks of the 62 mass reissue. I enjoy the size a lot more too, at 40.5mm in diameter, and the more shorter lug-to-lug length. At the end of the day, they're both great watches. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next one.